And we are live, my hunters. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Good to be back after a long hiatus on the podcast. Had a lot of IRL stuff to deal with, so sorry. Plus, there wasn't much news too recently. So, with further ado, we'll introduce ourselves. I think I have no introduction. I am the Old Hunter. I am the owner of this channel.
Hello, I'm the Knight of Green, martial artist, recreator of video games, learning animation to do a Souls-based animation, and paleontologist.
And I'm your favorite Dark Souls comic dubber right now, still currently on hiatus, but I am currently working right now at the seams.
Isn't it always a pleasure to see you two? How is everybody doing? So, before we get on to things, how is everybody doing?
I would say I'm doing pretty well. Also, happy Halloween's Eve, everyone. Will everyone be dressing up for this spooky occasion?
Oh yes, I forgot today is Halloween! Happy Halloween, everybody!
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Well,
That's right.
I forgot it. With everything's been going in my life, I forgot.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad that everybody's...
Spooky.
It is spooky. I'm glad everybody's had a great time, and we're actually doing things. We've got quite a lot of things to pop on today, because, oh boy, do I have a lot of news that have just popped up today. Some good, some bad, some interesting, and some disappointing.
Mm.
And some can be considered as spooky.
Maybe cool. So, before we begin things, now that I want to actually talk about something before we begin, like with recent news about unrelated to things about Elden Ring's DLC. You've heard the news, right, gentlemen, with the data leaks on the game?
Yes. I sure have.
I'm actually kind of excited for them. It's like, how do I put this? It's like we're getting DLC for a game series that literally just took the world by storm.
Yep.
Right?
Yes. Reminds me of the good old days whenever first Blizzard opened World of Warcraft for the first time. Brings me back.
Except with Blizzard, except with From, it's actually done by a more competent developer than Blizzard is.
Yes.
Did I just burn some? Did I just burn some Blizzard fans?
You can't say that about Blizzard. I'll have you know they're a great game.
Really great, a great games developer. So how's Overwatch 2 been? Or World of Warcraft, or yes, I'm going for the low blows, gentlemen. I am going for the low blows.
Shots fired.
Sorry, I'm just like, I just have a bad history with games that basically just, how do I put this? I just have a bad thing of games where they basically try to sell multiplayer-only games for like, games for 60 for full price. It's always been against my policies.
Yeah, it's always been against my policy too.
Like a monthly subscription for it, so it's like you pay for the game full price, and then you gotta pay a subscription for like every month to like keep on running your character.
So, forgive me if I'm never too happy about these sorts of things.
Right?
Yeah. It's not fun.
It's not. Look, and I know people are going to say that Overwatch is basically like free to play and all that, but it's still a horrible game with a horrible system. It just incentivizes you spending money instead of earning it the old-fashioned way.
Yep.
Honestly, I just wish they would just stop with this online paying thing, but not giving up what we want. Goes against their policy, apparently.
Because remember what EA said, that single-player games are dead, apparently.
Now, is this good for the player?
No.
Well, single-player games are dead. God of War.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Hold on. You say that, do you know what's dead? Bad single-player games. But quality single-player games? You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who's not going to buy a
You know
good.
what's also dead?
That is very
Bad
true.
multiplayer games.
Mm-hmm. But I digress. Anyway, we've got some articles to read. Darc, if you will. It's always important to. I would share screen them, but if I do, it messes up with the streaming. So,
Yes.
I know.
With you, gentlemen, we got a one that's based off of my favorite boss out of the entirety of Elden Ring.
The Bane. The bane of every Souls players in the world. If the bane of every Elden Ring player thus far, isn't it, gentlemen?
Just parry her. Not that hard.
If you would say so, my dear friend. So, shall we begin?
Yes. Now, as we see here, we have a beautiful image of her in her second phase. Now we go on to the name and title of today's article.
And it's going to be
Elden Ring Millennia embodies Fromsoftware's problems with women.
Make sure to clench your teeth, everybody, because it's not going to be a fun ride from here.
Yes.
Yes, I did read the article beforehand, but it's not good.
By Nico Dale. Let's see what they have to say. So, she lies there deep in the belly of the Halic tree as she's had merely dozed off in the shafts of lights that filter down. Millennia the Severed, defender of Mikla, has fallen to pieces, her one good arm resting at the foot of the worlds and gnarls that held her childlike brother. This enigmatic warrior captured the audience from the moment she appeared, and she featured prominently in the rest of the game's marketing materials. But instead of becoming an uncontested favorite, she frustrated fans and revealed the limitations of Fromsoftware's imagination.
One. Any thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, 2 words. Get good.
Really, it's becoming. How many? She is. Remember, let me solo her, gentlemen. Remember him?
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where I was going to go with that. Go on, let's read this.
Also, level up vigor.
Of course.
Millennia is a hard as nails endgame encounter, while optional she is a brick wall for a lot of players, reminiscent of other difficult encounters, like Lady Maria from Bloodborne. It's a 2-phase fight full of fast, lethal strikes as Millennia heals from damage she's dealt to the player.
Actually, she also heals from block hits, even if she doesn't deal any damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there was actually a heal from just hitting the air, so you know.
Yeah.
Try not to do that voice because it can get annoying, and I do have a podcast, remember.
Oh, yeah, sorry. As you encounter an Elfail, she is instantly imposing. Her presence is quietly scary. Her movements are honed in practice. Her voice is calm and unemotional. Her face is impassive. Everything in the first phase of the fight is designed to thwart and emasculate. There's a deep humor in the idea of a woman whose very attacks steal health from you to empower herself. And the ultimate joke, just when you think you've knocked her down, she gets back on one last attempt.
Quick question. Who here felt emasculated when fighting Millennia? Because I certainly didn't, and it never even crossed my mind when I first fought her.
No, I was just very sad that I had to fight her again. I was like, all right, where's the second phase? And then she goes, I go, yep, of course, yes.
I can't speak for every single Souls player out there. Or should I say Elden Ring players? I'm so used to saying Souls. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I can't speak for every single Elden Ring player out there, but I guarantee you the first thing that come to mind is, damn, I have lost my respect as a man. I think the more common complaint is basically, damn, I'd have to try that boss all over again, and I was close to beating her. Or any other form of variations of that sentence.
No. My reaction is, oh my gosh, I know what your name is.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
50 tries in and I finally know your name.
I am Melania. No, can you repeat that again? I didn't catch that.
I was too busy dodging all your blades and hitbox detections.
Anyway.
Melania's first death triggers her final transformation into the goddess of scarlet rot, which I will say, gentlemen, is a very beautiful transition. And she emerges triumphantly from her blossom to spread tragically beautiful wings of skin, rot, and butterflies. She is no longer clad in armor, and the camera does a long, slow reveal of her nakedness. Her body is crusted over with rot, and yet reveals her resident genitals. Bitch, where? Being as smooth as a doll's, it evokes a confusing mixture of fear and titillation, complicating the act of regarding her body. Her lack of protection does not feel like a vulnerability, but a challenge.
I
The
can't.
final part of
I can't. No, you were going to point, but. Okay, that was very confusing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, go up. I want to read this little again. Like, yeah, could you scroll up a little bit to the beginning of that paragraph, to the second paragraph? Thank you.
Sorry.
I just like her fine is beautiful of skin. Her reveal of her nakedness. Okay,
Is the author okay? The author okay? They said something about titillation. Are they okay?
Like, I think the first thing I don't know. I can't speak. Barring all the fan art out there, at least I explain it all. And worry getting my, this demonetized. But, like, titillation, complicating the act of regarding her body, what is that supposed to even mean? Like, care to explain it, gentlemen? From another perspective?
On by
I think
Melania.
you're focusing on the body way too much.
Yeah, turned on by Melania second phase. That's essentially what that is.
Her lack of protection does not feel like a vulnerability, but a challenge. I'm not getting. When I saw her second phase, I wasn't thinking, "Oh God, she's naked." I'm saying, "Oh God, this has just turned up to a limit, hasn't it, gentlemen?"
Here's my second reaction. Oh God, she's gonna kick my ass!
Look,
Yeah.
I was more so thinking about like One-Winged Angel or Sephiroth when her wings.
Yeah, that's
Oh, no.
exactly what.
Oh no, she has wings. No.
Oh no, it's the ginger version of Sephiroth.
Yeah.
My brain wasn't thinking, "Oh, but she's naked." I think I had more pressing matter than that.
She could fly.
Yes, again,
The
my
two-winged angel.
the statement again. I wasn't thinking about basically how she's naked. I was thinking, "Oh no, here comes the pain train again." Except double it. And then she one-shots me.
the pain train.
I'm about to say, does the Scarlet Bloom and then just instantly kills you as soon as you get to second phase, and you're like, ah.
You'd be like, okay, yeah, okay.
At least she stops saying she's Melania. She says, "Let the rock consume you." Hey, she didn't say her name this time. Oh wait, she's gonna say her name. I died of the first stage. Never mind.
Anyway.
Sorry, I've been oblivious. Now, the final part of the fight accumulates into a whirlwind of aerial dive bombs, rot explosions, and multiple copies of herself dashing around you. When she finally dies, she recedes into the security of the rot blossom again, quietly threatening to return in a future time for retribution beyond a typical life cycle.
I know it. Okay, that's somewhat lore accurate because in the lore of the Elden Ring, and correct me if I'm wrong, any scholars of Elden Ring, but the rot is supposed to symbolize death and rebirth, if I'm correct. That's the whole point of this in the series for the Scarlet Rot. It represents death and rebirth, so okay, I can't have any complaints about that one.
Yes.
Wait, but hold on. Did the article say that she claimed that she will return and get vengeance or something like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
the conversation seems more kind of like, "Oh, I'm sorry, brother, I couldn't be here long enough to see you back. I finally met someone that could best me." I feel like that was more so the conversation. Am I mishearing something?
Probably not.
No, I think you got the full picture. I just don't think this guy or this person does.
Yes.
I don't remember her going. I mean, I feel like, hold on, who kind of gave the? I feel like Margit gave that vibe that I'll be back but stronger.
Market.
Oh yeah, watch out for the Knights Cavalry. They're gonna like run you down.
Oh yes, those ones.
Yeah, not to mention you finally fulfilled like Melania's wish. You became that warrior that bested her in combat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she wanted.
Well, she almost lost her Radan. I think she.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to admit that. She literally just like, lol, let me infect his brain and get carried out. Yeah, I didn't lose. I'm never known defeat. I didn't lose. He's a brain dead zombie. He can't claim otherwise.
True. Anyway.
Yes, Melania exemplifies from the way Fromsoftware writes women in its games, whether bosses or NPCs you meet in the wild. These women have a shared condition. They exist in a tragically declined world, sharing a specific brokenness, disfigurement, abandonment, and loss.
Hang on, you want to say something? Huh?
This is not women exclusive. This is like an everybody's like this.
Yeah, every single
Do you
player.
think no man feels this way? What happened? You think of Ludwig from Bloodborne. Look what he turned into.
Disfigured, lonely, abandoned. Wow. I feel like this describes Ludwig. This describes
Lawrence.
Literally. Yeah.
What about the unspecified gender of the orphan of Khaas? Think about that.
Or we can go back to Dark Souls. We could basically think of like Solaire, or basically the Witch of Izalith, or Seath the Scalets, or maybe even the Nameless
What
King.
about the big one himself, Gwyn?
Gwyn? Good idea. I forgot about that one. So
I haven't.
fair enough.
Female exclusive only problem, according to the article, that, you know, it's not like men. So basically, men, like, you know, if the men go through it, doesn't matter. But all the women have it. Everybody has these issues.
In Dark Souls, regardless.
Even the
Everyone
freaking
gets
like
shit on.
Even the agent slugs and stuff have these issues.
Let's continue.
Exactly. So they are afflicted by gender, and the cure for when they are obstacles instead of mutely helpful is for the player to intact this article. Oh boy.
Sufficient. Okay, if we're talking about the bosses, fine. That's for the rest. I never want to attack people unless they attack me first.
Yeah, Melania gets up. You don't attack Melania. Melania gets up and challenges you, and she literally say, "Hey, homeboy, I've never been defeated. So, you want to run them once?" That's legit what just happened.
Anyway,
She literally gets the fucking like the undying heroine from Undertale going, "You're gonna have to try a little bit harder than that." So, the article then continues on the go. It is a particular kind of idolized femininity, as fantastical as the forbidding castles and giant trees, the more quiet, void of needs or motivations, and echo the presence of dolls, mothers, and even help meets who guide them player along. Their emotions are muted in their more docile counterparts, both erupting into a shrieking, horrifying hysteria when encountered in combat.
are they talking about just the females or every single NPC? Because all of them are...
Hold on. Doesn't that happen with Gascoigne? He starts off going beast all over the shop, just calmly just saying you'll turn to one of them, just casually turns to you, and then when you start beating him up, he turns to a monster. I feel like that happens with males too.
I feel like the giant trees... demeanor, quiet, void of needs or motivations. The thing is, that would explain for most of the other characters too, male or female in the Souls series. Everybody has their own... Everybody is has... you know what I'm going with this, right, you guys?
But I would also disagree, because she states her intentions and her motivations.
So if we're going to even side characters like Melina, she explains her motivations too. She wants you to take her to the Earth Tree.
Mhm.
Or what was the character that helps you level up the jellyfish? I keep forgetting.
The spirit tuner. Talk about
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, how she wanted to work with the blacksmith or whatever, and then he teaches her how to like level up spirits.
Mm-hmm. She has her motivations. Anyway, continue. This
Millennia is made
Hang on,
up
sorry.
of this same stuff
Hang on.
and isn't
Sorry.
unanimously hated either. There is passion for a giant red-haired woman in armor. Still, she's a contentious character subject to social media posts, memes, and arguments. It's obvious that... Yeah, okay.
Insert Ludwig's, insert Orphan of Cause, insert Gwyn, insert Bed of Chaos, insert Maria, insert... Did I say Maria or did I say her twice?
This article. Okay. It's
so
obvious that there is a contingent of the audience antagonized by her presence as both a boss and a figure in the game's story.
Every single character in the Soul series, regardless of male or female, have had memes and discussions about them. Gascoigne's had his memes. Lady Maria has its memes. German has his memes. Like if we're going for Bloodborne. The Nameless King has his memes. Let me think. What else? The Spirit Tree boss had its memes. Need I continue? Guys, your thoughts, please.
Oh well, we already said this guy acts like this is exclusive to women, exclusive to
the
Millennia.
Or
when it applies to one, you can literally name any character and just say argument. Like Ludwig represents toxic masculinity. He's big, strong warrior with big sword, and he fused with his horse, and now he's ugly. Like you could just replace this with like typical masculinity, and just replace the words with like Ludwig. You could have this to write the same.
I'm just defeated. There's just no way to win with these people. Either they just say a confidential hot take, and when someone or multiple people just talking about that hot take and how it has many flaws and many errors when thinking about morally, and with the info that it's being presented with the evidence, that's basically that's their quote example of, well, this is what I mean by a toxic people that try to support this. There's just no winning with these people.
But no, my question.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, just one more thing. Is I don't understand. I feel like Melania should be revered by these people because she's essentially a blind, crippled, disabled woman who literally was trained to work with her disability to become one of the most powerful individuals in the land. I feel like that is an extraordinarily impressive feat that I'm surprised they're not looking at that aspect of her.
You know how some people like these are. They tend to look at they try to make a mountain out of a molehill. This is saying, this is just basically just, I guarantee you, and I'm going to guarantee you this is just a clickbaity article by Polygon. I'm going to say this now. This is a way
it can show just how narcissistic people can be. They just tend to focus on the negative aspect of life, never focusing on the beauties of it, always representing the bitterness instead of the bittersweetness of what reality has to come of.
And the article continues?
Yes. Quite a few of these archetypal FromSoft women are beloved by the fans, such as the Emerald Herald, the Firekeeper, or more recently, Ronnie the Witch.
I know I'm not supposed to support this, but they forget about the plain doll from Bloodborne.
Yes.
And note, nice. Nico is being quite generous here, not listening Demon Souls Made in Black, Dark Souls infinitely having Giantess Guinevere, Sekiro's Emma, and the quite literally named the doll from Bloodborne.
Yes.
Sorry, I
You're
read that one.
You see, we can also look at this article saying Nico is being quite generous here, like as if they're trying to show that we're not going to listen to the other faults that FromSoftware had. This just proves my point. There's just no winning with these people.
Mm-hmm.
The border gaming community usually reacts harshly toward female characters. No, we don't. Which makes the Soulsborne community's embrace of them feel positive on the surface. When that affection feels based on that empty, emotionless state, or reduces them to an infantilized waifus, you realize that hostility and that fondness spring from the same deep sexist roots. Twins intertwine.
There's always toxic. Okay, there's going to be toxic members in any community, regardless. Even the Souls community is toxic. I'm not going to say that. They're probably, and they're plenty. So, I don't even know what to say.
Yep, welcome to my world. To quote Matt Kim in his piece, why are female characters in Dark Souls games quiet and alien?
Quick, can I add to that quote? Why are all the characters in Dark Souls games quiet and alien? Because that's the point at the setting of the series. Every single.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's in a wartime situation. You know, they should be going, yeah, I feel like, imagine, like, you know, you're in a wartime situation. Would you expect the enemy that you're fighting against to be sitting there blabbing about their life story, like, the whole time?
There's also the fact that the worlds of the Souls series are technically full of entropy. The world's coming to an end. Death is soon going to be upon the world. They're not going to all... They're basically being, like, quiet and alien because they've accepted the fate. They've accepted their fate. Quietly.
They have opened their Pandora's box and released all the evils upon the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there is very little hope that can combat against it.
Yeah, so that's the series of the that's the whole point of the series of either from Dark Souls to eldenring. I should say Demon Souls to Elden Ring, but who remembers that game?
So here's my advice to Nico here and anyone else that thinks this. If you have a problem with tragic like tropes like this, then you have a problem with tragedy. If you have a problem with tragedy, then you do not understand what is hard and what you can use to become a stronger individual.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
But even that will be taken out of context.
I think this guy likes looking up some Rule 34 of Millennium and then just wrote article because he felt
Don't start it, Green Eye.
Don't start it. I'm already teeting in edges most of the time. Don't push it on my streams.
That's my take on the situation, because he was like, the titillation of her naked body. I was like, hold up, sir. Who's looking at it like that?
I think I've got, again, like I said, I think I've got more pressing matters to worry about than the titillation of Valenia.
Yeah, considering that she's got a freaking sword arm on her fucking right arm, it's just like, what? That's the thing I'm focusing on. Like, what do you focus on? The guy that holds the gun or the gun itself? I think it's the gun itself.
Look, are her wings made out of her hair and dead butterflies? How does that work? Why are you getting skewered?
Yes, anyway.
Oh, boy. Now we shall read this quote here. While not exclusive to Japanese anime, its sort of archetype is one of the most popular types of characters in the medium. Stranger still is that these characters are actively fetishized for their outer worldliness.
Melania. Okay, so the reason why we like Melania, she's mysterious, she's interesting, she's beautiful, and she's mysterious. She has her motivation. I meant Rani. I said Rani. I meant Rani, not Melania.
Yes.
Anyway.
Their luck of a broad emotional spectrum is part of their appeal. Additionally, these characters are typically more resilient than everyone else in the story, perhaps because they are unburdened by emotions. Yet, one could also argue that their lack of emotions, used here as an unfortunate euphemism for men's conception of female shortcomings, make it easier to believe that they are capable of such great strengths. However, once engaged in combat, she reveals her true monstrous form. Now, there are a lot of red flags here with this
She does
thing,
not.
but yeah.
I don't think she's holding back her emotions while she's skewering me with her sword, right, guys?
This is interesting because she says something about like she lets go of her emotions and like becomes the goddess of rot. I mean, I thought that was more so everyone's denying their Empyrean title. It's less of emotions, more so like accepting who you actually are on a biological. Because she's an Empyrean, and she wasn't running around saying she was, and so I guess I'm embracing the fact that I'm actually a godly being. It was less emotional, more so
stoic acceptance.
Yeah, I would just say it would be more symbolic in a way. Because to me, whenever I saw that the first time, it was quite beautiful. It looked like as if she had reached her enlightenment.
I think we could even argue with something like Maria from Bloodborne, because as we continue to fight her, she just tested her vile blood ancestry. But as we continue to fight her, she comes to accept that she might need to use the thing she detests to defeat us. So there is some stoic behind that one.
Yeah, this happened with Maria. It wasn't an emotional response. It's oh snap! I can't just fight you without using my full potential because I'm a vile blood. So let me stick these blades in my body real quick. Let's get this party started.
Boy, Fromsoft's female characters who deviate from this quiet, doll-like appearance are still written with a lack of emotionality, which feels close to masculine stoicism.
Can we just say it's just stoicism in general, regardless of your gender? Like, women can be stoic too. Men can be stoic too. Non-binary people can be stoic too. I'm just saying this isn't an exclusive trait. They're stoic because it is part of the world. They're part of a world that basically is decaying and rotting. It's a stoic accepting of their fates.
Yep.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Well, apparently to these people it does.
Oof.
It's a strange emptiness that informs every premutation of character that women embody in these games.
Oh, heaven forbid.
Yes, because we can't show that women can be broken down at times, because we can't show the human side of women.
I feel like this is the same issue, and going a little bit off topic, but this is the same issue I have a lot of problem with the live-action adaptations of Disney's princesses movies, because they make them too Mary Sue-ish for my liking. Actually, no, they are Mary Sue's in general. Need the case in point. Case in point.
Be careful. Disney will take that out of context and send you a cease and desist.
I'll take him to court.
Soulsborne games are infamous for challenging their audience, and over the years have attracted a particular kind of player. Oh, these people often who take their boss-killing performance seriously. Oh my god. To some, the difficulty is the point of these experiences. This attitude has long kept many away from the studio's games. But Eldenring's popularity attracted a wider audience, ready to have bosses grind them into dust.
But keep away from these studios' games. But the reason that people keep away from the studio's game, the Souls series in general, is because of the perceived notion that they are difficult.
Yeah.
I think that's more of the concept of false information than exclusivity.
Yeah. But this boss fight is punishingly difficult. And, well, that's putting it lightly. And the audience's hostile and competitive attitudes about it are often steeped in gender toxicity. Oh, my God.
Lady Maria, my favorite. I think, going back to, like, DLC bosses, remember Lady Frida?
Mm-hmm.
Did we feel? Did I? I felt more frustrated that I can never get past the third phase.
Yes.
Numerous Reddit posts, YouTube videos, and tweets talk about the player's failures or successes while littered with sexist slurs.
I would like to look. I'm gonna. Look, she may have a. They may have a point that there are people who say sexist things. That's going to be the case. I'm going to say shame on you for being such toxicity. Second of all, I'm guarantee you they're more of the minority than anything. So they're just picking a small section of the community saying
and
why.
and also okay, let's say okay, let's go with that. Okay, people say sexist remarks when they're complaining about her difficulty. Yeah, and people did make dead mom jokes about Orphan of Kos each time he got the jump on you. I feel like that's a reaction when you make a boss that's really hard, people are going to say mean things. So it's like, okay, sexist.
Yeah, it's common sense.
Like they're going
to say stupid shit whenever they're angry.
Yes. Orphan of Kos. You killed me with your police. That's why your mom's dead.
Oh no!
I'm gonna have a lot. This is gonna bite me in the ass one day. I promise you it is.
Oh, it's already biting us slowly. It's just starting to get there. It's starting to pile up until the camel's back is broken. Oh boy. People also fell back into the usual community discourse about which methods of beating her were more valid and which ones made you a pussy. And the success over her took on a wide, masculinized chest beating at times.
People are competitive. They're going to basically boast that, hey, I beat Melania because I used only my blimmin' torch and I was naked. They're going to boast. People boast. Heck, there was one person who beat all the bosses, all 163 bosses, and didn't take a single hit.
Yeah.
He has more to boast. He's more to boast than anybody who's defeated Melania without a torch. With a torch.
These reactions are distasteful, but not surprising. Really, because you're making it seem surprising. This boss fight creates friction between the developer's ideas about gender and its ideas about enabling a power fantasy.
Christian, who goes into a boss fight in a Souls game thinking they're gonna trounce it the first time?
And
someone with common azure.
When has it caused friction about a developer's? Yeah, because the developer's totally thinking about gender and such. Yeah, because that was a main focus.
Mm-hmm.
It creates a weird performance when the game encourages players to embrace failure.
That's the point. That's the whole point of the Soul series. You screwed up. You got to learn from it and try again later. I'm going to say this. I am relatively good at dodging most of Melania's basic attacks, but it's her water dance technique that always ruins me.
Just block it.
I can't.
Now, let me share you a little bit of enlightenment, gentlemen. Pain is an excellent teacher. You know where you find pain mostly? In failure.
I was going to say waterfall dance.
Gosh darn it, Green! This is only heightened by Melania's character design. There they go with the character design again.
She's a tough boss and happens to be a woman.
Yeah. The bravado about beating Melania makes sense. She invokes the ideal of a virginal warrior like Joan of Arc and Brain of Tarth.
What?
Brienne of Tarth.
Never mind that.
Her purity and strength existing in a place beyond femininity.
Purity?
Her aesthetic references Athena or Valkyries, but even when that is stripped away, her nakedness is terrifying rather than provocative. Everything about her is hostile and taunts the player. When faced with a difficult, defiant woman who has never been beaten, men cannot help but fantasize about being the one to take her down.
What?
Question. You know, when you're facing a hard boss at any Souls game, man or woman, do you not fantasize about how you're gonna feel when you beat that boss? Like just
Constantly.
you throw question.
Constantly.
Oh man, Lawrence like did the slap of doom like 5 trillion times. When I beat him, I'm never coming back here again. I'm sorry. Is Lawrence a female?
Nope. Technically in the lore reason. Anyway.
So yeah, no, I'm just saying. I just feel like that happens regardless of gender. Like, you know, the fantasy of beating the boss. I mean, just whatever. Continue.
FromSoft's style of hiding the world and story behind item descriptions and aesthetic NPC dialogue both make the world unreliable and mysterious, but also reinforce fans' biases toward Melania. She's a receding figure in the narrative.
She's a side boss. She's not part of the main story. I literally had to look up how to get to Melania because there was no directions on how to get to her. There was no quest about fighting Melania. There was no idea of trying to figure out where she is. She's not. I bet most people who played the game first time didn't even realize where Melania was until afterwards.
Yes.
Whether by choice or omission. No! There is some evidence of cut content that could have expanded her actual story. Oh my
god. More so Mikola than Melania, but whatever.
The story is told largely in fragments prior to encountering her in the Halic Tree, the largest in her fight against Radon. Shown in a story trailer released ahead of the game, the two demigods face off to claim the title of Elden Lord. Radon cuts off her arm, and in a desperate move, she takes her sword and leaps onto him, plunging the blade into herself and exploding into a giant rot blossom. The aftermath of this is clearly shown when the player steps into blighted from edge to edge. I'll have to say that story thing was awesome. It was amazing.
The thing is,
and it showed how powerful these characters truly are.
The thing
you would imagine them in their prime.
The thing is, with Melania, her story, it was the fact that the story actually backed up her fight. The fight backed up her story as being pretty difficult. So how do I put this?
Look, is it me? But I'm just sitting here when I watch that story cutscene, seeing like Radon pull out his swords with gravity, cross them across his face, and then Melania doing that charge attack does at us. I was like, she did that to Radon. Then you get cut by it. That's what I'm thinking.
I was just mesmerized of how this would affect the story of both them going forward, and how I could imagine basically that would play a part in the characters, the players part of the story as well. If a fan missed that trailer, then their first encounter with Melania's influence is felt when going to fight Radon, Witch Hunter Jaren.
But the thing is, the story was shown in the trailer, in the cutscene, in the opening of the game. So unless you actively skipped it, then it was on you if you missed it. Not you.
Yeah.
And then even then, there are actually hints about Melania in the game, like
the sword stuff about like how she beat up Godric.
Yeah,
Yeah. She's an important part to the story.
Yeah, it's a bit. She's an important part, but she's also not part of the main story. But you could then say that's basically because maybe if she was in the, I think even From realized that if she was part of the main story.
Good luck. Most people the game. She was part of the main story.
Yes.
Say what you will, I think she's better off as side content.
Agree.
I personally
Anyway.
would like to see a spin-off story about her
Well-
and her basically journey in that, because I would think that would be pretty awesome. But
It would be.
that's just
It's just you.
Witcher hunter Jaren, a herald of Radon, narrates about the general's decline due to the Scarlet Rot. He's a shadow of his former self, enfeebled and crazed, and eating compatriots like an animal. It's not hard to imagine how this would influence the audience into seeing her as an aggressor. It spurred fan discussion about how her transformation was cheating, which is not, and otherwise fair fight.
The fact that Radon was a master of gravity and magic and also cut off her arms is not important. It kinda... The thing is, there's an argument saying because both Radon was holding back the stars, because he's the star scourge. It could be argued that Radon wasn't even fighting her at his full power. Because he was...
Dude could just meteor on her. It would have been over.
Yeah.
Dude could literally just drop meteors on people. Like, do you know how absolutely obnoxious that is?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. If Radon legit used his full power, Millennia marched herself and her army all the way to Caelid to bully him. He could have just nuked them before they even stepped on his border, if he really wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah, you could probably think of it like that. Besides, tell me, how many joules of energy are in a meteor?
we can Google that later.
Let's just say it's a lot.
We can go with that.
In order to shed light on Melania's journey, players must pursue a quest to save a young woman who's afflicted by rot. One who eerily looks like Melania. The story reveals that the demigod dropped spore clones of herself, which blossomed in Caelid. All roads in FromSoft's games lead back to women being mothers, even terrifying sword.
There's debate on that one. Yeah, I don't know about... what was it? Malika or something? Malika.
When Melania blossomed for the first time, she released spores. And the spores grew into the sisters.
Oh, okay.
So, they are her children. But, like, from a plant side of things, if that makes any sense.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would make sense, yeah.
It's starting getting in my head again.
Well, that's the lore for you. These narrative choices swiftly undercut her initially provocative design, cheapening their impact. Really? Oh boy.
You do know that
What's the
quest...
scariest thing a team of designers could dream up? A distant warrior woman who does not care about them, slowly succumbing to a rot that infected her from birth. While Melania's character writing had grown slightly beyond the way women were written in earlier FromSoft games, her arc is still confined by the same laws. What could have been a place of mechanical and narrative evolution backslides into being merely a means to an end within a video game. Women continue to populate the path of as either passive helpmeets or predictable obstacles, which the fan base is all too happy to step over.
Okay. Either you're like a stockpile Thomas and hold your stuff, or you're like, I don't know, the Tower Knight and getting knocked over.
Yeah.
My head hurts on that one, that's why I'm not going to comment.
While FromSoft's games are often intriguing meditations on the corrupting influence of power, the inevitability of death, and the lurking dread of cosmic horror, the women in them feel stunted. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's not. Melania is a half-grown idea clipped back too short. No, she's not. What could have been is left on the floor, the Halic tree, cocooned in petals, and deeply dreaming of revenge. The only revenge that I would be seeing here is against this person that made this article, because obviously they are not enlightened of the full narrative.
There's always these one art, and there's always these one people who played. There's always these people in like Polygon, IGN, and whatnot. Have this one person who are big fan of the Souls games, and then there's always the other 10 other people that complain about something about it.
Playing a Souls game and then you just hate it. Like, why are you still playing them at this point?
Mm-hmm. So yes, in conclusion, this is a horrible article that basically misses the point of everything important about the Souls community, and basically just...
Can we write a Lawrence version of this about toxic masculinity or something?
Oh, hang on 1 second. Could you delete the Dark Souls 2 PC package online, because I don't want to talk about that one. It's not really important.
Sure thing.
No, close it. Close it. Close it. I don't want to talk about it. We can talk about... Okay, for those who don't know, recent news, for those who don't know, from Sony has it. Click on it. That one. That one, yes. Sony recently announced that they're doing a Netflix series on Horizons, the Horizon series, called Horizon 2077.
Okay.
Horizon on 2077. Yeah. I think it was that called, so quote me on that.
Okay.
So, No, could you? No. Yeah, that one. So this is just basically going on with it. Basically, I'm talking about because of that, from a lot of Souls fans, myself included, have said that this is unfair. Why is that one getting special treatment? Why not? I don't know, the Souls series, since now Sony owns part of From.
I mean, okay,
maybe the media.
Maybe it's because, like, with something like that, you know, there's a definite character and a definite storyline versus, like, FromSoft games. Like, you know, imagine they do anything, they'd be like, that's not the ending most people got, or that's not the weapon that most people use. I mean, I just feel like it probably evolved to something like that, and that's maybe why.
So, I'll read this one so to give you a break, Darc. I think it's fair. Mm-hmm. Sony's investment in Fromsoftware could lead to movies or TV shows, says Hugh Hulst. PlayStation Productions collaborations are not unthinkable. And we have a picture of eldenring, Godfrey. Sony's investment in FromSoftware could lead to FromSoftware's properties being used in PlayStation Productions projects. While discussing the company's purchase of a minority stake of Elden Ring's developers, PlayStation Studios has Herman Hulst about Reuters. You should think of collaborations on the game development side first and foremost, but it's not also unthinkable with our PlayStation productions efforts that we explore opportunities. PlayStation Productions is one of the latest arms of Sony's PlayStation empire, focusing on adapting PlayStation franchises for film and television. While Sony is yet to use an IP that isn't owned in a PlayStation Productions presentation, it has now established relationship with FromSoftware may lead to a non-gaming based product coming from the franchise. The thing is, they only own Bloodborne. Elden Ring and Dark Souls are separate.
Sony owns Demon Souls.
And Demon Souls. Hulst's comments imply that an Elden Ring or Bloodborne film or TV series could be considered due to Sony's investment in the group. I prefer a TV series, not a movie, because they don't end well.
Yeah.
Sony recently acquired 14.9% of FromSoftware from its parent company, Kadokawa Corporations. The first television series of PlayStation products, The Last of Us, still don't like the series, will debut next year on HBO. Joel and Ellie will be played the Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, who is best known for her work in Game of Thrones. Isn't it funny that Ellie looked at... What was the female character in The Last of Us, the little girl?
Ellie.
Ellie. I found it funny that she looked a lot like pre-transitioned Ellie to Paige. Funny, right?
I never thought about it like that, but okay.
Yeah, neither have I, but yeah, I guess I can see it in a way now thinking about it.
I always found it weird.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyway, several other PlayStation properties are currently being adapted. The Umbrella Academy showrunner Steve Blackman is currently developing a show based on the Horizon franchise. Sony also announced in May that it was working on a TV adaptation of God of War with Amazon and Gran Turismo film held by District 9 director Neil Blomkamp. First time I couldn't pronounce something.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. I'm
Well,
interested.
I'm
I'm
interested in the God of War adaptation, but here's the thing with TV adaptations. If they were to do either a Dark Souls or any type of Souls like thing, like adaptations with that are TV, I want them to do it with a movie quality like aesthetic because they deserve a lot of attention because TV technically gets more time to develop the story than a movie.
Let's also let's also hope for the fact that they don't disregard the fans as because you know how they are a lot of the time. They think, oh, yeah, the fans aren't important, despite it having the property of the name of said thing.
Yeah.
Because you know how they like to just flick the fans away because, who cares about the fans? They help build the franchise.
Yeah. It's not like as if they're like the stilts that are keeping the franchise running. No.
No, it's like, no, we gotta make new audiences that know nothing of the property. Despite the fact that the Witcher series helped boost the game of the Witcher's games. It helped sell Witcher 3, boost the sales of Witcher 3.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I wanted to go about that, going on to the next article. Could you go with the Horizon Zero Dawn one first, and then we're going to talk about it. So basically, it's been confirmed that Horizon Zero Dawn will be getting a remaster. So this is a little bit outdated, but it's still relevant. Well, because they are coinciding it with the release of the Horizon Zero Dawn series that's coming to Netflix next year. Now, I would be fine with a remaster of an old game, but Horizon Zero Dawn is barely 5 years old at this point. It's not even...
Yeah.
It's younger than Bloodborne, and Bloodborne is almost 10 years old. So, look, I don't like remasters because there's always the thing, but I think Bloodborne deserves it more because it was a little bit rough around the edges when it came out.
Yeah.
Loading times, and it stopped at a... and kept it as 30 FPS, and it didn't even get an update, allowing it to run at 60 FPS on next-gen consoles. So this is basically part of why the Bloodborne. I feel like this is every time I see something like this, I have a feeling Horizon Zero Dawn Horizon fans are having a smirking time against us Souls fans. A little bit sometimes. I say this because they
they're
got
trying to start a feud.
I'm saying this because basically, remember Eldenring overshadowing Zero Dawn, Forbidden West? That at the point that literally nobody was talking about Forbidden West at all, and a lot of the Horizon fans are kind of bitter at us for overshadowing a game, saying it's unfair because the game was multi-platform and if Horizon wasn't, and despite the fact that Bloodborne soared pretty well and it wasn't exclusive to PlayStation.
Yes.
I think this is their revenge.
The cope is real.
Yep, and I think this is their I think this is their plan. This is their plan night revenge against us. Remember?
Oh well, let them try.
Yeah, and besides, I think they are trying to get paid in a way. I think they paid a lot of money to get this remaster done. Because I believe that's what's being caused here. Because Sony is a very successful company, regardless of their morals and stuff. And,
yes.
It can be corrupt at times. But that's just me.
Anyway, so I'll read this one again, so you get a break again.
Right.
Rumored Horizon Zero Dawn remaster reports have Bloodborne fans fuming. I wonder why. Bloodborne fans asked to be thrown a remastered bone in light of the rumored Horizon Zero Dawn update. Rumors of PlayStation 5 remaster for Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't get it why, because the updates could just make it fine and run better.
Yeah.
But I digress. Zero Dawn relocating online quickly became yet another thorn in the side of the Bloodborne players, who have been particularly wondering when it's going to be their turn for Papa Sony to acknowledge their favorite game.
Hello, Papa Sony. I require a remaster of this game. Oh no, please don't say no.
I don't get it. I get it. Horizon... I think the first Zero Dawn got lucky. It was supposed to release right next to Breath of the Wild on the Switch, but remember, the Switch was hard to come by, remember? So it gave Zero Dawn the breathing room it needed. Because, here's a new game. While I wait to get a Switch, I'll play this cool new game that came out for PlayStation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they tried to get a look with Elden Ring, and you know how that went. Anyway, where was I? The rumors of Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster was first reported by Gaming News on MPIST, and was later corroborated by Video Game Chronicles and Gamatsu. According to their sources, the remastered version of Horizon Zero Dawn will have quality of life improvements, new character models, updated lighting and animations, new graphic modes, and more accessibility features added to the game. Okay. The game was. I didn't play it, and I might play it when I get the opportunity, because hey, it's a game I can play.
Because we all know the game wasn't accessible beforehand. No.
And why does it have to update to be more in line with the new Forbidden West? But is it really that need for an update for a game that's barely 5 years old?
I believe they're doing it just in spite for Elden Ring's success.
And the fact that also that Horizon's also getting a TV show next year, so but that doesn't make sense. The Witcher 3 didn't update itself when the series came out. It kept it, and the sales were booming it.
That's because the project was too busy making a god-awful game called Cyberpunk, but then they tried to release a TV show in order to get the games that sales in order when they fix the game.
And the game, and it is fixed, and the sales, and after the anime came out, it boosted its sales.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if Sony just didn't do a remastered and just clenched their teeth, I guarantee you, the digital sales would have gone up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
In addition to the QOL updates reportedly coming to the remaster, MPIST reports that Guerrilla Games is also working on Horizon Zero Dawn multiplayer game for PS5 and PC. Couldn't that have been a free update for the standard game?
You would think.
Like what From did with the Sekiro. It did pretty well. So, you know what? To thank the fans for their loyal support, we'll give them a nice big free update of a Boss Rush. And it sold pretty well, and the community was pretty positive about it.
I'm surprised that got through Activision for free. Wait. For free?
Yes.
I'm told, I think Activision was pretty hands-off with Sekiro, and I think it paid off for them, because imagine if Sekiro was pay to get the Tabima.
Going back to when Sekiro was announced, and I saw the Activision logo, I had dread in my heart.
So did I.
Like, oh no. What are they going to do to this game? Are they going to put microtransactions? Thank goodness they didn't, and the update was actually free. No DLC, no payment, just a quick update. The game got free content and free costumes, and a boss rush most fans actually asked for.
And not only the best bosses in the game got updated to be super rad.
And
Genichiro. Oh my gosh. Genichiro got the best glow up. It's he's like, I want to be like Tomoe. Okay, let's update his moveset so he's basically like Tomoe on crack.
So
I was like, this.
So it basically worked. It was positive. I think From realized that, hey, we do these free content patches for the fans. They keep playing the game, and they keep spreading word of mouth about it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, hey, let's put these behind $5 DLC, let's give the fans the content they deserve, and basically make them more happy.
Right?
Yeah. I haven't spent, after I bought the game, I haven't spent a single dime on the game. Because it's free updates that are actually enjoyable. You know what this reminds me of, guys? The good old 2000s, where you could actually have good content on a disc and not paying for them. Yeah. Remember that?
On this DLC, what's that?
I miss those times too. I feel like From realizes the fan base They know if they screw up, they're going to lose a good majority of their bases. And they know that.
They will.
They know that.
So why would they deliberately make us upset if they know that we're what drove them to this point?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Again, the multiplayer could have just been a free content patch, but I guess Guerrilla Games just need to squeeze out the money because of their humiliating defeat.
Yes.
PS5 and PC VGC corroborate this report with the sources and leaked HZD concept art from 2014 that depicted Monster Hunter-esque multiplayer battles. Okay. Source told VGC the multiplayer games was intended to be part of Horizon Forbidden West, but was cut in favor of being utilized for a future project, or they could have just used it for a free content patch.
Yeah.
Remind one more time, gentlemen. Yonggi, I love the guy. I'm not going to try doing his accent. How are we prioritizing a Horizon Zero Dawn remaster / remake over, I don't know, Bloodborne, or any number of titles from PlayStation IPs that have been dormant for far too long? He makes a good point.
Yeah. He does.
Well, the
Probably
rumors...
one of the few people that got some common sense.
Well, the rumors of HCD Remaster coming to PS5 comforted gamers with an affinity for Aloy. It also aggravated a very sore spot for 4 die-hard Bloodborne fans who have been shaking their fists in the air and at the harsh reality that their games has yet to receive the same treatment. For the last couple of years, Sony has been on the upgrading spree, remastering numerous popular games in its catalog with releases including The Last of Us Part 1, unnecessary, Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, unnecessary, and even Neo 1 and 2. Those are PlayStation exclusive? I thought they were multi-platform.
Yeah.
However, intellectual properties like Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, and Bloodborne have been metaphorically occupying Sony's dark attic of video games, like The Simpsons' Hugo Simpson 2. Hugo Simpson II? Homer's brother.
Yes.
Can't remember?
Yes.
Can't believe I even remember that one. But still.
Donuts.
Voice actor and YouTuber Yonggi took to Twitter to question the
prioritization.
Thank you, of HZD remaster over PlayStation stagnant Bloodborne title. Sony Santa Monica game writer Alania Pierce replied to Yonggi's tweet and said, "The reason the franchise like Bloodborne remain in purgatory is that remasters are much more easier for first-party studios to pull off." I call bull fucking crap.
Bull crap. We got bull crap over here.
Wow.
See, nobody cares. Except we do.
Sony won. Bandai Namco was able to publish the mediocre Dark Souls remaster for PlayStation 4, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So, how... Bloodborne is a Sony IP. Was the thing, correct? They were supposed... Couldn't they just ask From, hey, we want to remaster the game. Can we do it? I'm sure Miyazaki would have said yes, because he probably would like to see his game better, his game with proper how he probably wanted it originally to be. The
funny thing about this, with the Demon Souls remake, this is legit what happened, right? Sony's like, we want to bring back, was it Demon Souls to the front line again, right? And they went to Bluepoint to do it. And do you know what From Software did? From Software gave them the base code of all of Demon Souls.
Yeah.
They know how special that is to be like, here is the work.
Yeah. And that was the perfect decision because it created a fucking beautiful remake.
It was absolutely
absolutely.
And the fact that, hilariously enough, because the remake is made on the literal backbone of the original game, the AI still has this little goofy quirks and stuff like that. It's endearing. It looks dumb, but it's so endearing. That's like, oh, yeah.
It's a little nice nod to the original.
The thing is, I guarantee Though you could also make the argument that let's also not forget the problem is that a lot of the people at Bluepoint played the later Souls like Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne, not something like Demon Souls. So hence why they try to have this weird, like they took Demon Souls but tried to make it more like the later Souls games. It has this weird jankiness to it. Weird.
They added professional roles, some of like the conveniences and stuff. You know, the soundtrack is definitely revamped to be more like Bloodborne-esque.
Which, which is a shame because the original had its oddly unique charm to it. You know, It was working on a smaller budget than the other properties. It still had a unique charm. Instead, they just make it more like Bloodborne, which is nice. And I know that the original composer of Demon Souls gave them their blessings to saying, "Yeah, that was a cool."
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you could make the argument that that's how he wanted the music to originally be. You could make that argument.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the original had its own charms to it, don't you think?
Yes, it did.
I wish they gave the option to have the original soundtrack. You know, that's just my personal thing. Because I remember I was like the Spyro remasters, and they give that option.
Mm.
So if you're like, I'm not feeling this new stuff.
That would have been nice. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll finish off. The Bloodborne Faithfuls. I'm not in a cult. I'm not.
The Bloodborne Faithfuls.
How about just say the Bloodborne fan base?
Yeah.
Sony and HCD directed the ire comes after Fromsoftware players were recently duped into believing fake news of an upcoming Bloodborne remaster, and that's forever going to be basically the saying that screw anybody who made that rumor.
Mm-hmm.
In May, Twitter was ablaze with false news about Bloodborne remastered coming to PS5 in August 2022. That was a dream. No. And PC in Q2 in 2023. This epicenter of misinformation was an account impersonating gaming news account Nibellion.
Mm-hmm.
The prose was easy to suss out for those who practice media literacy, given the post linked to a PlayStation blog from January 2015 about Bloodborne's longevity. But for those who took the information as truth, Nibellion cleared up the matter in tweet saying that he didn't have any Bloodborne news for you today. The statement remains true in light of the Ouroboros HCD reports. Sorry, Bloodborne, it'll be your... That just feels patronizing. That final sentence just sounds patronizing. Sorry, Bloodborne fans, but maybe it'll be your turn next.
Oh, wow.
Patronizing.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Sith Obi-Wan, because that's a very absolute statement.
All right. Final one, and this was the most recent affair. So, for those who don't know, you want to read this one, or
I would love to read this one.
So before you do that, so a little bit of little know-how. Recently, Sony put a tweet about the center corner of the box art of Bloodborne, saying, "Oh, guess what game this is?" They had to quickly delete it because people were saying, "Is Sony finally announcing a Bloodborne remake?" Finally. And then Sony clarified that they are not basically making a remake, and basically shot themselves in the foot and made them more angry, made the fan base even more angry.
They shouldn't have touched it. What was the point of doing that?
No clue.
I think they were just trying to shitpost, and then they feel like, oh shit, we can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be almost as bad as like taking a picture of like the part in between Bloodborne that looks like a 2. You know, people do that.
That would have just been a kick in the knee. That would just been a
kick in the balls, more like.
Yeah, it would just be. That would just be mean.
Anyway. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but today's article: Sony posts tone-deaf Bloodborne tweet and chaos ensues by Robert Ramsey. Update purpose. Sony has really removed the Bloodborne tweet. We did take a screenshot before it was taken down. However, you can find it in the original article, original story. Sony, what are you doing? Why would you ever make a weird tweet about Bloodborne if you don't have anything to announce? Surely you know that fans have been practically begging for a remake or remaster or anything for years now. It's true, though. Sony, not PlayStation, has just tweeted about Bloodborne, the company's official account. Puts
Hang on, you're breaking
a
up,
tweet
Darc.
like this. Oh,
Oh
sorry.
no.
Yeah.
Is this better?
Could you go back to the Sony part?
Yes. It's true, though. Sony, not PlayStation, mind you, has just tweeted about Bloodborne. The company's official account puts a tweet like this out every week or so, asking fans to identify a specific PlayStation game. And as you'd expect, this particular example has immediately resulted in social media chaos. The replies are already stuffed with people thinking this is some kind of tease, while others have reacted as badly as you'd imagine.
If I saw that tweet and you could see what it is.
Can you see it? Which PlayStation game are we simming on? Why you ask? It is not for any particular reason.
The funny thing is, this is probably the most attention Sony has given Bloodborne in years. We've heard nary a peep regarding the beloved PS4 action RPG that what feels like an age. This tweet is either incredibly tone deaf or some social media manager has having a laugh, which I believe that is true. Honestly, fair play if it's the latter. If anything, this just reinforced the fact that a Bloodborne something is incredibly high demand. We still think it's mental that Sony's yet to capitalize on the PS4 exclusive, especially when it's seemingly more than happy to re-release or even outright remake other last-gen titles on PlayStation 5.
Mm.
Imagine they just did like a double image of that. They just like put in like the guy's like in a hat right there, and then put another one right over here.
We would have
That would have just
we would have
and it
never
would have
noticed the
shown like a
difference.
2. It would have shown like some sort of like 2 or something, and that would have
Yes.
just been horrible.
Not because for Souls fans continue to be the niche and the odd people that's because we have always been let's face it, we're always the niche in the gaming community.
Yes.
Mhm.
Sure, Elden Ring's catapulted to start the Souls community to start, but that's because it just got a lot of hype behind it. Let's face it was mostly us who have been talking about. People when I first saw Elden Ring's release trailer, I basically said, this game is gonna be awesome. And people saying you haven't even played it, you're putting your expectations too high.
It's
I
a
think-
Fromsoftware. How bad could they mess it up?
Yeah.
They think it was Miyazaki because if Miyazaki was in the helm, it was not. If Miyazaki was the helm, I'd be a bit more suspicious.
If you gave it to the Dark Souls 2B team, yo, you guys did really well the first time. Here you guys go. Get our biggest project people looking forward to. Have fun.
I'll keep reiterating it. If Dark Souls 2 wasn't Dark Souls 2 and was something like Land of the Dead or something along those lines, it was a generic game, I would have paid no mind. But because it has the Souls name in it, I hate the fact I hate that game. It's a constant annoying. I want to love it, but my common sense tells me not to love it.
It's more of a love and hate relationship with me because there are some good qualities of it.
I will
The
agree.
Dark Souls has some of the best moments I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There are some good moments, but the problem is that the bad outshines the good. That's not like pow. I like it that they brought some things back, like the mechanic. If you roll into something, it stays on you a little bit longer after you left. That was a good idea. Incentivizes people not to roll into things. So interesting idea. They brought back power stances from Dark Souls 2. That was nice.
Absolute goated feature.
That was nice. That was nice. They even expanded. They actually dived a bit more about giants basically being taken out by the evil forces, like in by the main. I don't want to say main, but the primary force of the world. So like the fire giants and the giants. So they did recycle a lot of old ideas in Dark Souls 2. The difference is they actually made it better.
Mhm.
I hate the adaptability because it just basically ruined everything. And first time playing the damn game, I didn't realize adaptability was an important skill.
Yeah, getting iframes and rolling so you don't just get roll caught by like
Everything. I didn't even think of raising my adaptability to the highest level because I didn't think it was that important. I get the game.
No.
I get the game is vague on a lot of things, but the adaptability was new from what I'm used to. Remember, I played Dark Souls 1 and I played Dark Souls 1. So I was coming off Dark Souls. Going into Dark Souls 2 right after I finished Dark Souls 1. So I knew some of it. But with the adaptability, I didn't know it was important years after I played the game.
Mm-hmm.
It was because I was watching Lance McDonald, it was a YouTuber who was basically responding to H Bomber Guy's defense of Dark Souls 2 video. And basically, he brought it up. And when I was, what? You're telling me the reason why I kept getting hit despite the fact I know I dodged it perfectly was because I didn't level up a stat that was in the game?
Yes. I see how this is frustrating. Rest assured, if you level up adaptability... See, I beat Dark Souls 2 on, what's it called? Soul Level 1 run. And let me tell you, crossbows are your friend.
I'll take note of that. Well, I think that is everything I wanted to talk about, gentlemen. So, final thoughts on all the articles we read.
Well, I believe that Elden Ring is still an amazing game with an amazing cast of characters and all sorts like that.
So, first article we read. Thoughts on that one?
It was very painful for me to read. It was very painful.
I wonder what that guy's into. Just curious.
Yeah.
The article and the two articles about and how about the articles about Bloodborne? About the whole Bloodborne situation and with Horizon. Well, the three.
Hey, they're trying to jab at us because they're mad, but hey, it's whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. We can always say, "Hey, at least our game was probably the least talked about game of 2022."
Oof.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: the more Fromsoftware gets popular, the more people are going to visit their old games and then realize, wait a minute.
These are actually pieces of gems. Wow. Why have I never played this before?
Quick thing. They remaster Kingsfield. They remastered they're going. Yeah. How about they remastered like their old Kingsfield games? Basically, the old first-person dungeon crawler games.
I would love to play that. I would love to.
When you find the Moonlight Greatsword, it's it! It's here!
It's here! And there it is!
The Moonlight Greatsword, the fixture of every Fromsoftware games, minus Sekiro.
I'll say it's even freaking their mech games. Like that's how you know how crazy they are.
It wasn't even that. They actually remember during when Demon's Souls released, they actually made a third-person ninja action game along the lines of Ninja Gaiden. It even had the Moonlight Greatsword.
Yes.
Yep.
It's funny no one talks about that one. Anyway,
because it was an Xbox exclusive,
and also it was bad. So there's that. So I think that's everything we wanted to talk about. It was actually a great time. Great to see you guys are back. Good to have everyone here. Glad we had a nice chat.
Yeah.
And happy Halloween to everyone.
Happy Halloween if you've watched this now, but if not, if it's next year and you happen to watch this, happy Halloween then. I appreciate everybody for joining. And as I always say it, may the good blood guide your way, my hunters.
And